Thank you for viewing the Shawano School District's athletic participants video. This video has been made to help you better understand the policies and procedures expected for athletic participation. Any Shawano Community High School student planning to participate in Shawano athletics must view this video along with his or her parent. Hello, my name is Joel Wondra, Activities Director at Shawano Community High School. And I want to share how glad we are that you've chosen to participate in our athletic program. We believe the students who participate in athletics and other co-curricular activities have a more positive high school experience and perform better academically. Shawano High School is a member of the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the National Federation of State High School Associations. Our athletic programs are governed by the WIAA, the NFHS, and the Shawano School District policies. The WIAA requires that in order for students to participate in interscholastic competitive sports, there must be written documentation on file that students have been duly notified of the rules and regulations of participation. Parents, I will review the general overall expectation for student athletes, the chain of communication, some of our policies and procedures, including some recent changes to our activities code, and helpful tips for a successful experience for all involved. Following this video, please review the activities code in its entirety with your student athlete. It is the position of Shawano Community School District that involvement in co-curricular activities is a privilege with accompanying responsibilities and expectations. It is the interest of the school and community that equitable standards for participation be established and administered. These standards should include, but are not limited to, academic performance, personal behavior, and refraining from the use of drugs, alcohol, and other illegal substances. The opportunity to participate in the co-curricular activities program is extended to all students who are willing to assume certain responsibilities. To be a credit to self, family, school, and community, a student is expected to display high standards of behavior, exemplify good sportsmanship, show respect for others, and meet all other WIAA and Shawano eligibility requirements. Now let's introduce the forms that must be completed and turned in before an athlete can begin participating in practice. You'll also need to complete all of the eligibility documents by reviewing them, signing those that require signatures, and turning the required forms into the high school office prior to the first practice. Packets of forms are still available in the high school office if needed. Some forms are also available online on the district website. You may visit www.shawanoschools.com and find these forms under the Activities tab under Athletics, under Documents and Forms. The forms that are required include the eligibility checklist. For your convenience, an eligibility checklist is available to you on our district website. Use this checklist to make sure you've completed all of the required documents. Finally, the parent and student athlete must sign and date this document indicating that you've read, understand, and agree to abide by all of the information contained in these documents and that you've watched this video. The second item is the physical clearance form or the alternate year card. A complete physical is required every 2 years. If this is a physical year, the physical clearance form must be completed by the medical professional who conducts the physical. In the off year, students complete the alternate year card. Item number 3 is the activities code parent and student agreement. This document should be signed and dated after watching the video, reviewing the Shawano activities code in its entirety. Acknowledgement of warning form. The Shawano Community School District will strive to make all events as safe as possible. However, participation in any activity can be dangerous. Temporary or permanent injury or even death can occur in any sport or activity. There is an inherent risk to participating in athletic activities. Item number 5 is the WIAA concussion parent and athlete form. This is the state of Wisconsin form, which is required by law to inform parents and students about the signs and symptoms of a concussion. Parents must read the fact sheet for parents, and students must read the fact sheet for students. After reading, the parent and student must sign and return the last page only. Please keep the fact sheets for your record. Number 6 is the WIAA Eligibility Information Bulletin. This is a condensed version of all WIAA rules. Parent and student must detach, sign, and date the last half page. Keep the rest of the document for your reference. Item 7 is the Theta Care Disclosure HIPAA form. This form allows the athletic trainer to share information with coaches and doctors to properly treat athletes and their injuries and assist them in rehabilitation. Item 8 is the Emergency Medical Information form. This is a carbon copy duplicate form that must be picked up from the high school office. It is not able to be printed off from our website. And finally, a $15 fee is due for each sport. Should you have any questions regarding this video, the eligibility checklist, or any of the eligibility forms or documents, please contact Athletic Secretary Ms. Jane Peterson at 715-526-2175, extension 8107. Once you have submitted all of the required forms and paid your sports fee to Mrs. Peterson in the high school office, she will give you 2 items to give to your coach. One is a permit to practice card, and the other is a copy of your emergency contact information. These 2 items should be given to your coach. Once your coach receives these 2 items from you, you will be allowed to begin physically practicing with the team. If you come to the first practice without these forms to give to your coach, you will not be permitted to physically practice, but you may observe practice so that you hopefully can still learn what is being taught. In order to maintain academic eligibility, a student may not have more than 1 failure per progress grading period. A student may not have any failing grades at the end of a semester grading period. A student not meeting this requirement shall be ineligible for competition for a period of not less than 15 consecutive scheduled school days, including the next competition. A student is expected to continue to practice with the team during the ineligibility period, but they may not compete in any games or contests. At the end of the ineligibility period, a student may be reinstated if at that time he or she is passing all classes. Once the student has been reinstated, he or she must continue to do passing work in all of their classes in order to remain eligible for the remainder of that grading period. If after the ineligibility period the student is still failing 1 or more classes, the student will not be allowed to participate in any way, practice, or competitions for the remainder of the grading period. One other important factor to understand is that students' second semester grades will be used to determine academic eligibility for the fall season the following year. Unless excused by an administrator, students must be in school by 9:30 a.m. on the day of a practice or a contest. Exceptions include prearranged professional appointments, school trips or visits, funerals, weddings, voting, or family emergencies. Students who go home ill anytime during the day are not permitted to participate in practice or competitions on that day. Practice and competition attendance is mandatory. Each coach will establish their own attendance policies detailing their expectations and consequences for missing a practice or competition. Athletes who do need to miss practices or competitions are expected to communicate that to their coach prior to their absence. Communication within an athletic department is an integral part of the overall success of the athletic program. A chain of command can be very effective in making sure all parties involved are communicating effectively. This chain of command should always begin with the athlete addressing concerns with the coach. If the athlete has tried but has not been able to resolve the matter directly with the coach, then parents may wish to arrange a meeting with the coach. If the matter is still not resolved, parents may then arrange a meeting with the activities director. The activities director may find it effective to then arrange a meeting between the athlete, parent, coach, and activities director. As a parent, there are specific things that you should expect the coaches to communicate with you about. These topics include the philosophy of the coach, the individual and team expectations the coach has, the locations and times of all practices and contests, any special team requirements, procedures that will be followed should your child be injured, and discipline which may result in the denial of your child's participation. This information will be covered at the parent meeting held by each coach prior to the beginning of their season. Parental attendance at these meetings is critical and required. There are also certain topics that coaches expect communication from parents about. These include notifying the coach of any schedule conflicts well in advance, any specific concerns with regard to the coach's philosophy and/or expectations, and a general overall support of the team and the program. Some topics are appropriate and encouraged to be discussed with coaches. Examples of these topics include the treatment of your child, both mentally and physically, ways in which you can help your child improve his or her performance, concerns you may have about your child's behavior, and injuries or medical conditions that may be afflicting your child. Conversely, there are some topics that are not appropriate to discuss with coaches. These topics include playing time, although this topic is one that the athlete should communicate with their coaches about directly, team strategy, play calling decisions, and other student athletes. The preferred approach for communicating concerns with coaches are for parents to call or email the coach to set up an appointment. If the coach cannot be reached, call the activities director, Joel Wondra, at 715-526-2175, extension 8103, for assistance in setting up the meeting. Parents should refrain from confronting a coach before or after a contest or practice with their concerns. All athletes and parents should expect the following from Shawano Community High School. Students have a right to be treated with dignity and respect. And students have a right to feel safe and play with safe equipment and in safe environments. The following rules of coaching and parent contact will be strictly enforced and are not open for debate. Coaches decide on practice and game strategy as well as game ending decisions. They are more familiar with the game, the players, the opponent, the situation, and the game plan than anyone else. Coaches decide on an athlete's playing time during a contest as well as what team the athlete is assigned to play on. If your child has concerns about his or her playing time, your child should be the person to talk to the coach about those concerns. Speaking to the coach immediately before or after a contest concerning an issue with your child, the team, or the coach is not appropriate. If an issue arises, please wait 24 hours before contacting the coach. Things often look different after some time to digest and think about. Eligibility rules and the activity code are enforced 365 days a year. If you pledge to be an athlete, you pledge to follow the eligibility rules and the activity code of conduct. With privilege comes responsibility. Please refer to the activities code for specific consequences regarding code of conduct violations. Conduct violations which warrant activity suspensions will be decided by the activities director and will be based on the severity of the offense. A student who is suspended from 10% or more of the total scheduled competitions in a season as the result of a code violation will forfeit all awards and varsity letters for the activity season in which he or she was participating at the time of the infraction or at the start of the suspension. Shawano Community High School encourages safe and responsible student behavior with regard to internet use 365 days a year. Any identifiable image, photo, video, or posted online conversation discovered which implicates a student to have been in violation of our alcohol or drug policy or code of conduct policy will be investigated and action taken by the administration. Shawano Community School District recognizes and supports its student athletes' right to freedom of speech, expression, and association, including the use of social networks. In this context, each student must remember that participating and competing for Shawano Community High School is a privilege, not a right. The student represents his or her school district and is expected to portray themselves, their team, and their high school in a positive manner at all times. Any online posting must be consistent with federal and state laws, as well as school and district rules and regulations. Please keep in mind the Shawano School District may have stricter guidelines than the WIAA, and coaches may have stricter guidelines within their program than the general athletic policy. Each program will host a parent meeting where program policies and expectations will be reviewed. Attendance by parents at these meetings is critical and required. Student athletes are expected to ride the bus with the team to and from all away contests. Riding the team bus together is important for team unity. If there is an exception, a transportation waiver must be completed and turned into the high school office before the contest. This form can be found on the website under Documents and Forms. The Shawano School District does not provide any form of medical insurance to students participating in athletics through our school teams. Any medical expenses incurred by a student are the responsibility of the student or parent or guardian, including any physical examinations required for participation in athletics. One exception to this is that the WIAA does provide a secondary insurance policy to every athlete that covers concussions and other head injuries. Notify the coaching staff and the athletic trainer with any pre-existing conditions. Sports medicine services are provided by Theta Care physicians and the Shawano Sports Medicine licensed certified athletic trainers, Miss Sarah Smith and Mr. Benjamin Charles. All injuries need to be reported to the athletic trainer and the coaching staff immediately, and they will work together to get your son or daughter back into participation as quickly and safely as possible. The trainers will follow up on all reported injuries and may also recommend that your child see a doctor if the injury needs further care. They can recommend specialists if needed. Please bring back a written note or release anytime a physician is visited. A key to successful participation in high school athletics is maintaining perspective. After every contest, tell your son or daughter, "I really love watching you play." Regardless of the outcome or situation, your child will know that you were there for them. Support the coach and the school. Everyone wants to be successful. Our coaches teach life lessons as well as the sport. Please positive contact with coaches is encouraged. Please feel free to contact coaches with questions. Parents, please support the officials. We hire only WIAA certified officials. It is a privilege to attend events where your child is participating. Please display good sportsmanship for all participants, including the opposition and the officials. Help all fans model positive sportsmanship. Please refer to the 8 parental support tips on your screen for additional suggestions for helping make your experiences one that will be enjoyable. I'd like to share some additional resources that you may find helpful. All cancellations, changes, and updates of school activities are made on the high school athletic website the instant they are known. To receive email or text notifications when schedules change for the team or teams that you follow, visit bayconference.org and subscribe to the Notify Me feature. To access all eligibility forms, go through the district website at shawanoschools.com. For sports schedules, go to the individual sport website or the activities homepage and click on Bay Conference. Consult wiaawi.org for WIA tournament information and updates. And please consider following me on Twitter at ADShawano for news and updates from the Shawano Athletic Department. For additional information or questions, please contact either your coach or advisor concerning the specifics of the program or Joel Wondra, Activities Director, at wondraj@shawanoschools.com. This concludes the Shawano School District Sports Eligibility video. Please be reminded to fill out all required forms, sign and return those to the high school office before your first practice. Parents, we appreciate your support and look forward to a positive partnership. Students, remember, it is always a privilege to wear a Hawks uniform. Live the Hawk way. Be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. And go Hawks.